Okay, we recently went through an example of a schedule of safe payments. We had the ABCD partnership. They had some cash in excess of their liabilities, and the question was, who's going to receive that cash? And so what we did was we basically went through a worst-case scenario, saying, look, if all of the non-cash assets are worthless, and if all of the partners are individually, personally insolvent, how would any cash in excess of our liabilities and any amounts we want to hold back for expenses, how would that cash be distributed? Which partner would get it? And the problem, and certainly that analysis works, the problem is that, again, the liquidation of a partnership might take months or years. And as the cash comes dribbling in from the disposal of assets, every time we want to give out cash to partners, we have to go through that schedule of safe payments calculation. Now, obviously, with spreadsheets, it's not that huge a burden, but what we can do is set up a plan in advance showing how cash will be paid out as it becomes available. Now, just to refresh our memories, in that example we had the other day, we had the ABCD partnership, and the partners had capital balances. A had a balance of $300,000. B had a capital balance of $210,000. C had a capital balance of $400,000. And D had a capital balance of $500,000. And recall that the ABCD partnership, they shared profits and losses in a 20 to 15 to 25 to 40 ratio. Now, again, what we saw last time was that although D had the highest capital balance by a good margin, D got wiped out. The problem is that D got wiped out when we did that analysis saying assume all the non-cash assets are worthless. And the problem is, it's a matter of the relationship between these partners' capital balance and their exposure to any losses. So again, the profit and loss percentages, A bears 20%, B bears 15%, C bears 25%, and D bears 40%. So although D has the largest capital balance, D also bears the lion's share of any losses that we might have. So what we want to do is examine how big a loss could the partnership sustain before wiping out A's capital balance or B's capital balance or C's capital balance or D's capital balance. And for that, we're going to have what's referred to as the loss absorption power. And again, that is simply measures the partner's capital balance relative to their exposure to losses. It's going to be the partner's capital balance divided by their loss exposure, their loss percentage. So for partner A has a capital balance of $300,000. They bear 20% of any losses. So partner A has a loss absorption power of $1.5 million. That means that if there's a $1.5 million loss, partner A would bear 20% of that, or $300,000, and that would wipe out partner A. Partner B has a $210,000 capital balance divided by B's 15% profit or loss share. So $210,000 divided by 0.15 is 1.4 million. So partner B can withstand a $1.4 million loss to partnership assets. Likewise for partner C, 400,000 divided by 0.25 or 1.6 million. And then finally partner D, 500,000 divided by 0.4 or 500,000 times 2.5, 1,250,000. Now again, this sort of fits in with what we saw in the schedule of safe payments example. Recall that when we assumed that all those non-cash assets were worthless, then partner D got wiped out. Partner D ended up with a deficit capital balance. When we allocated D's deficit, that wiped out partner B, who is in the second weakest position. So looking at this, we say, look, D is in the weakest position. D can only withstand a $1.25 million loss. Partner B is in the second weakest position, being able to withstand a $1.4 million loss. Partner A, $1.5 million. Partner C is in the strongest position, being able to bear a $1.6 million loss. So what we're going to do is go ahead and set up sort of a two-leaf table here. One for the partner's capital balances, and another for their loss absorption power. So loss absorption power is 1.5 million, 1.4 million, 1.6 million, and 1.25 million. Okay, now again, in this analysis, partner C is in the strongest position with a $1.6 million loss absorption power. So what that means is, partner C is in the strongest position. If everything goes to heck in a handbasket, partner C is going to be the last one standing. So since partner C is in the strongest position, we're going to give partner C cash until his or her loss absorption power drops to the level of the next highest partner, partner A. So to get from 1.6 million down to 1.5 million, we're going to want to see partner C's loss absorption power drop by $100,000. Now, what does a drop of $100,000 in C's loss absorption power imply about the amount of cash being paid out? Again, think of how we calculate the loss absorption power. The loss absorption power equals the partner's capital balance divided by their loss percentage. Let's rearrange that, bring that loss percentage term over to the left. So loss absorption power times the loss percentage equals capital. And then just go ahead and take the change in either side. So the change in the loss absorption power times the loss percentage equals the change in capital. And so what that means is, to see a $100,000 change in the loss absorption power, partner C bears 25% of any losses, so that implies a $25,000 change in partner C's capital account. So basically what we're going to be doing, take that $100,000 change in loss absorption power, multiply it by partner C's profit or loss share, and so that means $25,000 being paid out to partner C. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring my balances down here. So partners A and C are equalized at 1.5 million. Partner B is now in second place at 1.4 million. Partner D is still bringing up the rear at 1.25. So now A and B are in an equally strong position, and we're going to want to start giving them cash until that loss absorption power drops down to the level of the next partner in line. So a $100,000 decrease in loss absorption power for both A and C. That'll bring them down to 1.4 million, which is exactly what B has. And again, what does a $100,000 change in loss absorption power for partners A and C imply, relative to their capital balances? $100,000 change in loss absorption power times A's profit sharing ratio is $20,000. For partner C, same thing. $100,000 change in loss absorption power times partner C's capital or profit and loss share, 25%, is $25,000. So what we're doing here, think of these as being stages or layers. This is going to be stage one. And stage one says the first $25,000 all goes to partner C. We've just filled out stage two. Stage 2 says the next $45,000 gets split between A and C in a 20 to 25 ratio, 20 to 25 ratio. So again, whether you split it on their profit and loss sharing ratio, 20 to 25, or we've also, we'll leave that for a moment. Okay, so now we've equalized A, B, and C, and again, D is still bringing up the rear. So D is still in the weakest position. A $1.25 million loss would wipe D out, while A, B, and C would still have positive capital balances. So next we're going to give money to A, B, and C until their loss absorption power drops down to the level of D. So to get from 1.4 million down to 1.25 implies a reduction of $150,000. So that will get them all down to 1.25 million. Okay. Now before I pull that data over here, let's go ahead and bring our capital balances forward. After stage 2, A would have a capital balance of $280,000. B would have a capital balance of $210,000. C would have a capital balance of $350,000. And D would have a capital balance of $500,000. Now notice something. At this stage, this is the stage we're at right here. At this stage, A, B, and C have the same loss absorption power, $1.4 million. What that means is that we've equalized the relationship between their capital balances and their exposure to any losses. Basically, their capital balance ratios, 280,000 to 210,000 to 350,000, is the same as their profit share ratio, 20 to 15 to 25. Those ratios have been equalized. D is still the odd man out, odd man or woman. D still has a profit loss percentage relatively greater than his or her capital balance compared to the other partners. In any event, now we want to get A, B, and C's loss absorption power dropped by $150,000. And again, what does that imply about the amount of cash paid out? Well, for A, $150,000 times 0.2. For B, $150,000 times 0.15. 15 times 15 is 225. For C, 150,000 times 0.25, or 37.5. So this is stage 3. So again, first 25,000 all goes to C. Next 45,000 goes to A and C. Stage 3, the next, what is that? 69,000. The next $90,000 gets split between A, B, and C in either their profit sharing ratio, 20 to 15 to 25, or their capital ratio, 280 to 210 to 350. The whole point is to equalize that ratio. Okay, now all 4 partners are in an equal position of strength, which means that, now we've gotten through our stages. The final stage, any remainder, is going to go to all 4 partners in their profit sharing ratio or their capital ratio, which at this point should be the same thing. So let's go ahead and summarize these stages. So again, stage 1, first 25,000, all to C. Stage 2, the next 45,000 to A and C in a 20 to 25 or 4 to 5 ratio. Stage 3, the next, again, this added up to, 60 plus 30 is 90. The next 90,000. Need a better marker. To A, B, C in a 20 to 15 to 25 ratio. And then finally, any additional, any remainder, this stage 4, any remainder or any additional to A, B, and C, and D in a 20 to 15 to 25 to 40 ratio. Okay, so once we get this sort of game plan laid out, basically it's a matter of, as cash comes in, we pay it out, keeping in mind where we are in the succession of stages. So let's say that we get $35,000 coming in. And different people have different strengths. For my part, this is the confusing part, keeping track of where I am in those various layers. So I get $35,000 of cash coming in from selling my inventory. Who's the $35,000 going to go to? I'll say, okay, I'm starting in stage 1. The first 25,000 goes to C. And then I start dipping into stage 2. I got $35,000 to distribute. 25,000 of that is coming out of stage 1. 10,000, again, stage 2, it goes to A and C in that ugly 20 to 25 ratio. So, I guess there's no getting around it. Let's go ahead and figure that out. So A and C, C is going to get all of stage 1. Taking that $10,000 and splitting it 20 to 25 is going to be 44,444 to A, rounding off to the nearest whole dollar, and the other 55.56 to C. Okay, so that first $35,000 is going to be split like so. Let's say we get another, we get $40,000. Again, we ask ourselves, where are we in that schedule of stages? Stage 2 had $45,000 in stage 2. We've already used up $10,000 of that. So there's still $35,000 left in stage 2. And again, that's going to be split between A and C in that 20 to 25 ratio. So 20 divided by 45 times 35,000. So A is going to get 15,556. B doesn't get anything out of stage 2. C gets the other 25/45 of that 35,000, 19,444. So that knocks out the rest of stage 2, and now we're starting to dip into stage 3. So for stage 3, again, we had a total of $40,000 in cash to distribute. Maybe we sold some land or some equipment or something. We got $40,000 in cash to distribute. We allocated $35,000 between A and C out of stage 2. The remaining $5,000 is going to come out of stage 3. And in stage 3, we're allocating it to A, B, and C in a, again, whether 20 to 15 to 25, or equivalently 4 to 3 to 5. Neither, you're not going to get a neat number no matter what you do. So A is going to get 4 out of 12, or 1/3 of that $5,000. And rounding off to the nearest dollar. B is going to get 3/12 of that $5,000. And finally, C is going to get 5/12 of that $5,000, or $20,083. So this again, there's a check figure built in. We had $40,000 to pass out. We sure as heck better find that we passed out $40,000. So A is going to get 16,17,223. B is going to get 1250. And C is going to get 21,527. And again, that better add up to $40,000. If it doesn't, I may have made a mistake adding that in my head. 17,223 plus 1250 plus 21,527, 40,000. So again, we're simply working our way through these stages. If we got another $50,000, we have to think of where we are. Right now, we just started dipping into stage 3. We've paid out, in stage 2, we've paid out 5,000 of the 90,000 that's in stage 3. So the next 85,000 that comes in is going to go to A, B, and C in that 4 to 3 to 5 ratio. Once we deplete stage 3, any remainder goes to all 4 partners. Okay. Yeah, works for me. Thanks.